Isaac, welcome to the Giants.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell us something about yourself.
My name is Isaac Banks. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I come from a big family, and I went to college at East Tennessee State University. And on my team, I was fortunate enough to go to the NCAA tournament last year. And, I had a good run.
And you say you come from New Orleans. You were there during Katrina. How old would you be then? About 10?
Yeah, I was 10 years old. I was going to help my dad, mom move out our house in East New Orleans, and we kind of stayed, and it was a devastating experience. It's tough down there with that Gulf. We should have left. We should have left.
Yeah. Isaac Banks, who originally grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, but had to be moved to California due to Hurricane Katrina, and he was gracious enough to tell his story.
I mean, this was rough growing up with my grandmothers. We was on food stamps, and it just was rough. Like, I seen a lot of things when I was young as a kid, and we grew up in a household of like 12. My grandmother and my grandpa had to raise me.
2 months before Hurricane Katrina would hit, the Banks family would suffer a tragedy.
My brother had gotten into some trouble, in the city, and I guess somebody retaliated and just murdered him.
The Banks family, dealing with heartache at that point in time, got news that there was a storm coming.
Years before Hurricane Katrina happened, they had hurricanes that were supposed to come through, like Ivan, and they never hit New Orleans. So my family was like, we're going to stay, because first of all, my family didn't believe Katrina was going to come at first, to tell you the truth. So we stayed.
When the storm hit, Banks was across town helping his other grandmother.
My dad's mom. I helped her move. The waters was up to about 6 feet. So I was, I was 10, so I was like 5'4", 5'5", something like that. And we had to walk through the water. And at first we had to go and get some food, obviously, because we didn't have nothing, because our kitchen was ruined. So we was in our house for about, say, 6 days. And then they had some men in trucks came by and was like, they're gonna open the floodgates, so the water's gonna rise up to about 12 feet. And just in the area we was in, either y'all gonna stay in this or y'all gonna come with us to UNO, the University of New Orleans. So we kind of gathered all out the things we could gather, and we went to UNO.
Banks continues his story to tell you what went on inside UNO's arena.
It was crazy in there. Lights, no nothing. I mean, when you go in the bathroom, you go use the bathroom, it's, stuff all over the floor, it just wasn't a good scene. We was in UNO for 2 days. 2 days. And then after the second night, we went lined up to get on helicopters. We sat down like we was refugees, just sitting down waiting for hours and hours till our line get picked to go to the nearest airport. And then we had to sit in the airport for about 10 hours. They putting us in lines to go to the next stop, and we didn't know where we was going.
While Isaac was able to get out of New Orleans, he still didn't know if the rest of his family was able to seek shelter.
My mom's mom, that's who I lived with. Her side, my other side was in obviously the Mercedes Superdome, and I was worried about my other side of my family, because that's who the world got to hear about, the Superdome.
Banks had an uncle that finally got him in touch with his mother.
Call your mama on this number or whatever. And then I called it, and then she answered, and she was just happy to hear from me, because she didn't know what I was going through either. She didn't know if I was fine or, she was worried, like every other mother in America. She was just worried.
So the Banks family had to pick somewhere to live. They decided to move to Long Beach, California to stay with an aunt.
We made it to Long Beach, and my aunt was like, call me in a week. So we was left in California with nothing. So we had to go in the hotel. We lived in the hotel for 2 months, FEMA, Red Cross helping us out. So we finally got into schools, and my uncles and them found jobs.
Banks spent 3 years in Long Beach, California, eventually moved back home to New Orleans, where he played high school basketball, and in the summer circuit after senior year, he was spotted by Murray Bartow.
And Coach Bartow, he came up to me one day and just seen my talents, and he liked the way I play, and he just wanted me to come here.
Banks took a visit to Johnson City and thought it was a perfect fit for him. It's no doubt when you talk to Banks, he is very thankful for the opportunity in front of him.
I'll say I'm blessed, blessed, and because a lot of things could have happened to me when I was young, but I'm blessed to have God, the talents He gave me. Won't take it for granted. I'm gonna work hard every day and work hard in the classroom, and just make my family proud.
And one member of his family in particular.
My uncle, Derek Williams. Yeah, he watched over me. I looked at him as a little father figure. Like, he really took care of me. He watched over me just as much he watched over his own kids. He did the same things for me he did for his own kids. And to this day, if he could see this story, I thank him.
Yes, sir. My first pro, and I couldn't be more humble about it. I'm very excited about it, and I'm just ready to get going.
And I guess you couldn't have had a bigger weekend as far as the Giants are concerned, playing Leicester and Newcastle this weekend. Going to be a big weekend for you.
Oh yeah, I heard about the upcoming teams.
Two of the top teams in the league. How are you feeling about that?
I'm up for competition. I've been a competitor my whole life. And in college, there was many good teams to play against, and you got to just be ready to play. Yeah, it's new. Everything's new. It's coming fast, but I'm just ready, and I'm up for the challenge.
Well, we look forward to seeing you over the next 3 months.
Yes, sir. Yes.